thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And today we're going to have another barn burner of a controversial topic that, I'm going to be on that weird side that people will be like, what? I just can't let this stuff go. I guess I just do it to myself, I guess. Ooh. All right, so today's topic. Hashtag Disney must pay. Creators claim Disney not paying royalties. What does the contract they signed say? So there's been this big dust up that's popping all over the net, and you can find about it basically anywhere. I'll find a story and I'll link it in the bottom if you haven't seen it yet. When Disney acquired several companies during their acquisition of Fox and other stuff, but Disney definitely acquires things. Many authors said they were missing royalty statements and checks across a lot of their properties, like, that just, hey, I didn't get my money. I've been contracted. I did this deal. We have a royalty agreement in place, and I haven't got my money. So here's some list of them. Lucasfilms, Boom Comics, Dark Horse Comics, 20th Century Fox, Marvel Worldwide, and Disney Worldwide Publishing. A lot of these are people are missing royalty checks. So Disney, of course, some of it they bought, companies they bought out and things like that. And people are getting upset, of course. And some people are saying, hey, you're not paying us our money. We need our money. But some of these companies were bought, and the contract that was held with the original company that owned it. But when Disney bought them, what happens to the contract? So we're kind of talking about that right now. Let's keep it 100% real. This is a tough conversation. I'm going to say some things that some people are not going to like. I'm okay with that. That's nothing new for me. I mean, controversy is where I live, and I got a good address, so I'm okay with that. Disney not paying people for work. That's never a good thing. If people did work for you, you should pay them. That's only fair. But if Disney acquired the company that the contract was originally under, and that contract stated, which I'm sure some of them did, said, hey, this contract is perfectly legitimate as it is, but if the company sold, this contract becomes null and void because they're new owners. And the new owners are going to come back to the original deal. They might see an original deal that was made, and it was made before they had it, but now they own it. And once you sold it, we need a new contract. Now, here's the fun part. The new contract may not be in favor of the writer or whoever's involved. Yeah, look, new owners, they own the property. You may have created something for the old owners that don't exist anymore. Well, the new owners are like, hey, we got this new property. We like it. We might want to use it. Here's our new contract. Now, this contract may be much worse than you signed with the original one. And they could be like, hey, that's not fair. That's not the contract I signed. The company you signed doesn't exist anymore. We bought them out. We took it over. We took control of that. And there are people screaming right now, well, that's not fair. They should honor the old contract. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. See, I'm very much against that. See, the new company bought out the old company. The new company said, hey, you got stuff you want to sell? We want to buy it all. We're going to buy it all. Boom. And the old company's like, hey, we got these people in their contracts. They're like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it when we get it on our side. And they own the property, and now they're like, hey, we're changing your lovely deal. And now some of these artists, I don't know all of them for this one specifically, but a lot of these artists are like, hey, I keep saying artists. I mean, writers too, but now they're like, hey, wait a minute. This isn't the contract I signed. And it's like, that's right, because the company you signed it for doesn't exist anymore. And so the new parent company is like, yeah, here's the new contract. And I'm sure some people are like, hey, this isn't what I want. I want more money. This is what I expected. And Disney, being who Disney is, they can be like, okay, don't worry about it. We won't pay you, and just say, boop, we're not going to use that piece of, whatever they made in our new system. So now these people go from making a little bit of money on the lovely royalties to zero. Because then he says, oh, we're not going to worry about paying them because we don't think it was that good. We just won't use it. No big deal. That's one option. The second option might be, hey, you know what? We like this character. We want to use it. We're going to give you a new contract. And the contract may or may not be in the original creator's favor. Those are really the options. And to get upset with Disney saying Disney must pay, I think that's, a good idea in theory, but it doesn't work out that way. So I think back to a job that I got when I first moved to Fort Lauderdale. I was living in Indianapolis. This company called me up and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing websites in Fort Lauderdale?" Now, at the time in Indianapolis, it was January, probably I think it was the 14th or 15th, and it was like minus 10 below, a good foot and a half of snow on the ground. And somebody calling me from Fort Lauderdale saying, "Hey, we'd like to hire you to have you come down here and live in Fort Lauderdale and design websites." And I'm 29 years old. So that took about 3 seconds to say yes, and then 3 days later I was on a plane down here. So I got down here for the company. They were a new startup. While working there, while signing my contract, they gave me stock options in the company, and I was like, "Great, this is fantastic." Roughly 4 or 5 months after I was there, the company was bought out by another company, and I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, well, and the shares that I had really weren't worth as much as they said they were because of the new company. So I was like, okay, these things happen, but I want to be, I want to be loyal to the company because, they got me here. They're very loyal to me. I was still 29, fresh. You're like, I'm going to be super loyal. Then, and I was the only person in my department. We were a small little division right here in Fort Lauderdale. The main new company was actually up in Boston. I had to actually go visit them, but that comes up later. And so when I got there, they were going department to department. They told me, "Hey, you're in the marketing department. You're going to be running it, so you're going to be in charge of it." I'm like, "Oh, great. No problem. I've been there. I knew what was going on. Not a problem." And then they said, "We're going to be hiring an assistant for you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool. I don't think, an assistant developer, designer like me." I was like, "I didn't think I needed one, but okay, great. The company will do it. No problem." The new guy came in. I worked for them for about 3 weeks, and then they came to me again and said, "Hey, you guys are doing great work. Really appreciate it. So your assistant," they're like, "Yeah, well, we're going to make him the same level as you guys. You guys are equal. That's, makes more sense. He's going to be here in Boston. You're going to be down there working. Great." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, great." I'm thinking, "Oh, this is great. This will not be a problem." 3 more weeks come to me, and they fly me actually to Boston because they want me to work in the office with more stuff. And I'm like, "All right, great." Boom, boom, boom. So they get me in Boston, and they come and tell me, and I'm there for like a week or two. It wasn't that very long. And they come and tell me, they go, "Hey, let's have a meeting," and they have just me and the HR person. And they're like, "Yeah, let me let you be notified that we're going to take the guy who's the same level as you, we're going to make him your boss." So in roughly 2 months, the guy who used to work for me is now my boss. And it was like, wait a minute. And I was all very shocked and surprised. I remember this phrase I said, and I was like, "Yeah, I understand what's going on, but I want to be loyal to the company. They hired me and they brought me down here to Fort Lauderdale. I want to be very loyal to them, and I just want to be really respectful for them." And the HR guy told me something that stuck in my head for the rest of my life, and it's also colored how I see businesses. He said to me, "That's really admirable, but that company's dead. This is a new company, and these are our new rules. So if you like them, you can have it, or if not, you don't have to." And it was kind of shocking. I'm 29. I just moved down to South Florida. I've been there, not even at that point, maybe a half a year. I really didn't know much. I didn't know most people. I was like, holy cow. And I was a little worried I was going to lose my job. But they're like, "Don't worry. We got you covered. We're going to take care of you. Don't worry." Little fact. Any company tells you, "Don't worry, we got you covered," you should be worried because they don't have you covered. So I got back, and another 2 weeks, I got laid off. And I was like, "Well, what about my stock?" They're like, "Yeah, your stock's worthless." And I was like, "Huh?" They're like, "Yeah, new company, new rules." And I thought about that, and I was like, ugh. So I got laid off and continued on. So the moral of that story is, just because you signed something in the past doesn't mean those rules still apply now. So I understand these creators, claiming that Disney hasn't paid the royalty. Yeah, make sure that's good. But also make sure your contract is good. Because you can find out the hard way, how your contract was really not built for you. It was built for, the people above you making the real money. So do yourself a favor. Check out to find out what the contract says. Because these people are complaining, and realistically, they're going to get some money. I mean, Disney's not stupid. They're going to give them some money, but it's going to be on Disney's advantage. Disney's not going to try to give them a deal that's great for the creative people. Oh, God, no. They're going to give them a deal that's great for Disney. Because when Disney bought the company, this is something they said they'd handle. Because that's what you do when you acquire a company. You handle situations like this. Happens all the time. That being said, I'm sure Disney will start paying these people a lot less than what they expected. And, for a lack of a better term, Disney will find guys that they like to replace them. No matter how great these stories were, if these stories are not something they can validly make money off of, they'll just stop making them and they'll hire somebody else. And that sounds cold, but let's keep it real. Disney is a multi-billion-dollar, multinational company. There are people lined up at the door more than happy, willing to work for them, and sign off all their rights to what they create for them, just so they can say they worked at Disney. Don't kid yourself. A lot of people are like that. A lot of people are waiting, and that's not just for Disney, but most companies. Make sure you sign the contract. You actually know what it says. And if you don't understand it, or you're not really good at it, hire a lawyer. If they've got a problem with you hiring a lawyer to look over the contract, you shouldn't sign with them. Shouldn't. You should stick to being independent and doing stuff for yourself, so all the money comes to you, so there's no surprises. But I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys got surprised on this whole deal, and, it wasn't always the best for them. But, like I say, if you're going to be doing stuff for big companies, make sure you protect yourself at all times. Because they don't care about you. They care about themselves. So protect yourself at all times. That's important. Just a little food for thought. And for everybody who's like, Disney must pay, personally, I don't think Disney's going to pay. I think Disney's going to beat up on these guys with a drum. Except for the top 2% that have real money. Like the Neil Gaimans. Middle level, medium guys, down. No, they're going to beat you guys with sticks. They're going to beat you guys with sticks and take what they get. Because you know what? Disney's got enough money to do that. And those guys don't have enough, wherewithal to actually defend themselves against an attack by Disney. Sorry. It's not me being cruel. It's just me telling you the truth. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you all later. Hey, thank you for checking out my channel. Do me a favor. Check out my other videos. And if you like what you see, subscribe.